Loki Season 3 will pick up right where Avengers Doomsday leaves off. There are many theories surrounding the plot of Avengers Doomsday, but two things are for certain. The multiverse will play a central role in the story, and as a result, Loki will as well. Given Loki is now considered the epicenter of the multiverse, it only makes sense that his character takes on a whole new role in the future films. In Avengers Doomsday, with the assumed storyline of the multiverse collapsing in on itself, Loki could serve as a sort of deus ex machina, appearing near the end of the film at the last minute to save the day, in a very similar vein as Falcon in Avengers Endgame. But where does that leave Loki Season 3? Loki may sacrifice himself in order to stop Doctor Doom from destroying the multiverse, or he might just take his multiversal powers to the next level yet again. While it is possible that Loki's story will conclude in Avengers Doomsday, theorists speculate that Loki will actually replace the Beyonders after Doctor Doom seeks to destroy them and their mission of protecting the multiverse from total destruction. Loki Season 3 will be Marvel's way of phasing out Kang for good. The Loki Season 2 finale may have sealed Kang's fate in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but there are still some strings left untied, leaving room for a third season to save the day. With the controversy surrounding Jonathan Majors, the actor behind the role, Kang the Conqueror, fans were left uncertain about the MCU's future. After all, Kang was set up to be Marvel's new Thanos. However, with the introduction of Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, all that's left to do is find out how to get rid of Kang's storyline. The solution? Have the TVA handle any loose ends. After Loki inserted himself into the multiversal timelines, he placed the TVA at the forefront, essentially assigning them the role of watchdog against Kang and any of his variants. So it can be assumed that if the MCU's writers completely shoved the character under the rug to leave room for Doctor Doom, the TVA handled the situation, and how they managed to do so would provide a fantastic full-circle final season for the Loki series. Loki's background, his self-image, and his teenage years will finally earn the recognition they deserve in Season 3. Considering he is the series' titular character, many fans were disappointed by the lack of in-depth characterization for Loki in his own series. Despite the mixed reviews that Thor, Thor the Dark World, and the other Thor films have, it's undeniable that they did a much better job at fleshing out Loki's complicated past. One of the most important elements of Loki's character, his native home of Jotunheim, was completely overlooked, something that even the Marvel series What If managed to reference. Loki Season 3 could finally go back and repair what the first season failed to do. A prequel season starring a much younger Thor and Loki would become an instant audience pleaser, engaging with the Nordic myths surrounding their hometown of Asgard, Loki and Thor's relationship as adoptive brothers, and at last, Loki's frost giant lineage. Another core aspect of Loki's character is the time he spent with Thanos after his suicide in Thor 2011. Not only did Loki play a pivotal part in initiating Thanos' plan, but it has proved to be a truly traumatic aspect of Loki's background. All of these plot points and more could finally fill in the gaps of Loki's first two seasons. While the Loki series introduced the TVA into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a third season will dive deeper into the agents' work, their personal lives, and more, as they protect the sacred timeline. In the first episode of Loki Season 1, the MCU allowed viewers to peek behind the curtain of the multiverse and discover who has managed to keep everything intact. Well as they could have, at least. Although it was only introduced in the past few years, the TVA's role has already completely changed the trajectory of the MCU. A series surrounding the members of the TVA could be the perfect opportunity to expand on the Loki universe, and there are multiple ways of doing so. For example, Owen Wilson's Mobius became a fan-favorite character following the series premiere. While Mobius is now confirmed to be retired from his work at the TVA, a prequel covering the events leading up to Loki Season 1 could explore his career before coming into contact with the God of Mischief. On the other hand, a third season could introduce an entirely new set of characters by examining the effects of Loki replacing Kang's temporal loom, especially now that He Who Remains and Ravonna Renslayer, at least according to speculation, are deceased. Sylvie Laufeydanner's backstory will be explained in much better detail in Loki Season 3. Being a variant of Loki, her early life is relatively similar to that of her mischievous counterpart. Up until a certain point, that is. Sylvie is taken captive by the TVA as she is believed to be a Nexus event. There are a few fan theories surrounding why Sylvie was considered a Nexus event, many of which could provide the perfect plot for Loki Season 3. One of the more prominent theories is that Sylvie was considered an anomaly simply because she was a female. Another theory was that Sylvie was too heroic when what the timeline needed was a villain. This aligns well with another theory that what Sylvie really wanted to become was a Valkyrie. Clearly, Sylvie's character goes much, much deeper than what the series explored. A third season following Sylvie as she navigates the various timelines and discovers her place as the only female Loki could finally earn her the fan base that the writers intended. A third Loki season will dive into the complicated relationship between Kid Loki and a yet-to-be-explored Loki variant, Ikol. Sadly, many of the pruned Loki variants that were introduced in Season 1 were not reintroduced in the series' second season. Not only did the writers choose to leave them behind in the first season, but their fate is left undecided and undefined. Left in the void after Season 1's finale, fans have a few theories on what happened to these unlucky variants. They may have died at the hands of Alioth, turned against each other, or were forced to remain in the void like prisoners. However, there is one theory that stands out from the rest and aligns well with the fate of the series' star Loki, variant L1130. After Loki replaced Kang's temporal loom and, according to theorists, became the god of stories, he sent his variants, including those in the void, back to their original timelines. But while this plan may appear seamless at first, a tie-in with the comic series Agents of Asgard could throw a wrench in Loki's plans. In Agents of Asgard, Kid Loki is reincarnated and loses all his memories of his former life. The echo of his former self, known as Ikol, attempts to remind him of his past and steer him in the right direction. But Kid Loki is defiant. At first. Loki Season 3 could be the perfect opportunity to take one of Marvel's best comic runs and combine it with their versions of Kid Loki and, eventually, Ikol. While Loki began as little more than Thor's mischievous brother in the MCU's first phase, he has proved to be much more than fans initially thought.
I know what kind of god I need to be.
The dismissal of Kang from Marvel's future projects caused some disappointment and hesitation among fans, as they were unsure how Marvel's writers would clean up the mess, while keeping the storyline on track. But thankfully, Tom Hiddleston's Loki proved to be Phase 5's MVP, in more ways than one. A third season is not yet confirmed by the series writers, but audiences remain hopeful that Loki's redemption story is far from over.
It's not over.
What do you think of these Loki theories? Do you think Season 2 was a satisfactory conclusion, or were some strings left untied? Are there any Loki variants from the comics that you want to see come to life in the future? Do you have any theories that weren't mentioned here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more theories just like these. Thanks again for watching Screen Rant, and I'll see you at the next one.